taxes, inflation, and the breakdown of the family are causing us to fall behind. We have the lowest net worth in the United States, and I'm sure those numbers cross the border as well.
Some people get the disability tax credit and they don't open the registered disability savings plan, and that's where the government puts in all the money of grants and bonds for a person with a disability who has done all the steps. Some people don't do all the steps.
Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that team since 2020, reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. We're broadcasting live on the Morning Vibe, August 16th, on the second half of August, which means school time's coming. But I guess for the next little while, we have our Friday on the road correspondent named Ryan Oneil Knight.
Right. Yes. Hold on. You started the Dove Men Care thing 2020. Was it just before COVID hit or after?
The collaboration started 2020, and then the show started 2021. Interesting enough, when I first spoke with them, I told them, "Hey, you know what? You need to get into dad's phones. You need to get into podcasts." And they said,
"Right,
okay." Then, but when the pandemic hit, the show became a frontline priority.
Yeah, gotcha.
Right.
And yes, always traveling. Good to see everyone. My name is Ryan Knight, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network and the Detailing Nights, which is my social enterprise that we do mobile waterless car cleaning. So we're on the road today, going to be out detailing some cars, picking up some of our youth participants that are part of our youth entrepreneurship program. So shout out to, where's he from? Oh, Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa in Scarborough. So yeah, shout out to some of the students from there. And I need to make a prediction. A quick
okay.
What would be called a prediction?
A statement.
Statement. Yeah, statement's better. So I know we've been talking a bit about the election going on down south. So I predict that the JD Vance fellow is going to be kicked off of the ticket. I think he's going to get kicked off because if he isn't and Trump doesn't win, he's going to be the scapegoat that Trump throws under the bus. But if Trump does win with this gentleman as his running mate, this character, Kamala had no chance. Because if Trump can win with this guy, there was no chance for her to win because Trump's base is too strong. Because this guy is a joke. Now they're catching him in drag, and everything about him is just, you know what I think? You know what I actually think? I think he's a plant. I think he's a plant by the Democrats. The Democrats figured out a way to get this guy into Trump's camp so that he can sabotage it from the inside.
Okay. All right. Well, before we go any further, morning Fitness IQ Cam, and I don't know if you realize Fitness IQ Cam, two of her favorite people, Earn Your Leisure, are coming back to Toronto.
Nice.
So I'm sure that you'll be there.
You know who else is coming back to Toronto? Eric Thomas. Have you ever followed his work?
Yes, I know about. I've seen some things coming to Toronto. I haven't paid a lot of attention. But
Orlando Bowen from One Voice, One Team.
Okay,
he's bringing them down.
Well, that's not going to be cheap. Good morning, Wayne Harris. Right back to you. Hope you are doing fine, Wayne Harris. Yeah, I know that Wayne Harris went to see Earn Your Leisure the last time they were here. So I know Wayne shared some of his feedback with me. Okay, there we go. So Frequency Event Promotions goes, yes, Next Level Conference, September 28th, I believe. Actually, it was in
That
my
sounds
theater.
right.
I don't know if it's a 20. Are you? Would you plan to go, Ryan?
Yeah, well, I was talking with Orlando about ACBN supporting and getting, and
Yeah,
even DK getting some youth there. So yeah, I definitely want to see how we can be involved, and also doing something before the conference, like an info session, getting people to understand why it's important. Because it's not, I mean, they always build stuff as for everyone, but it really is for a specific crowd. So we want to be able to get the right people out there.
by the way, Frequency Event Promotion says good day, Dr. Vibe and Ryan. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
if you're speaking with Orlando, see what the opportunities of getting Orlando, I'm not Orlando, Eric Thomas on the show.
Yeah, I'll see. And then I'll check with you which dates, or we could probably do a la
Doesn't
carte
matter
one. Yeah,
whatever time that is good for him. Let's make it happen.
absolutely.
I'd love to get ET on the show because I don't know too many people in Canada that have seen him live. I know people have heard about him.
Right.
Seeing him live, yeah, keep me updated on the event. That may be something I may want to go to.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the last time he was here, I was actually part of the team with Corey Ford that brought him up in, I want to say 2014.
Wow,
Yeah,
that
so we had
long?
brought Eric Thomas up, and that's what, 10 years ago. So, and I don't think he's been back.
I don't think so either. Well, do you have
Yeah.
any memories of that event of him being here?
Absolutely. And you know, Orlando Bowen spoke on the stage. Karen Donaldson spoke.
Yes,
Victor Beausoleil, he
yes.
spoke. I that might have been the lineup. Yeah. The Pursuit of Greatness conference
Where
is
was it
what,
held?
at the Living Arts Center in Mississauga.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a really cool event. It was my first experience kind of being behind stage
Yes.
for, you know, those speaker conferences that I'll go to, like the Les Brown conferences, and they have that whole speaker lineup. But it was the first like headliner that I was a part of. So very cool experience. And at the time, I remember I was working at the city of Brampton and trying to encourage them to get more of our entrepreneurs to go out and see. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. It was good.
No, that's cool. No, I haven't had the opportunity to see. Okay, so here's a question. If you had a chance to see Eric Thomas or Earn Your Leisure, who would you pick?
Oh man. So it depends the setting, because Eric Thomas is great for inspiration, but he also does really good workshops. So I like, because I got his book and it came with like a workbook to actually, you know, do work. So if it was that, I would for sure say him. Or Earn Your Leisure, same thing. They do really good workshops. If it's just to hear Market Mondays, I wouldn't want to go see that. But if it's to do a class on picking investments and actually opening your phone and getting it done, I would go to that. So either of them, if it's going to be a tangible workshop, that would definitely. But if it's more just inspiration, then Eric Thomas takes it for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be interesting. And the audience here, who would you rather go see? Earn Your Leisure or Eric Thomas? So Frequency Event Promotion says ET for motivation, Earn Your Leisure for post-event work. So here's my question though. Earn Your Leisure, they've been here at least twice. They came up and did something a few years ago. Then they came up for a Marabana. I haven't heard much of what any sort of programming Earn Your Leisure. Now I know this organization M2M, I think, is bringing. They have an alignment or a collaboration with this group, but I haven't heard anything other than the appearances. Right? Wayne Harris, who was a great public speaker himself, says if you don't have mentors by subject domain or read, either is fine. So
Okay.
Interesting. No, and Frequency Event Promotion goes, Orlando Bowen has a great story and has been doing great work, motivation and youth focused work. Yeah, he's been doing stuff for a while.
Yeah, and his story is like insane about what happened with him with the police and like false arrest and actual assault. And it was the first time I heard his story when we had brought Eric Thomas up in 2014. So getting like the full backstory of what he's been doing, and then, man, like this guy's heart is huge. He's just inspiration of how to, like, of character, like how to carry yourself through life and still be such a motivator for youth. And especially, I do a lot of work with youth, so I take a lot of learning from him. So yeah, his story is amazing. So that would be a reason to go hear him speak. And I think he just got inducted into the Canadian Speakers Hall of Fame, Orlando Bowen. So yeah, when we get him on, we'll definitely have to talk to him about that.
Tell him, get him on. Any of the people who were appearing at that conference, I think would be great to have on. That'd be great. Okay, let's so Wayne goes, of course, our dear friend goes a bit deeper. He goes, both fill the gaps for those who don't have mentors or sponsors. EYL is more urban in their approach. ET is more pastoral in his delivery. Both can exist in your space depending on your gap analysis. Wayne Harris breaking it down.
So when he says pastoral, I think he means like ministry style, like pastor. Yeah.
Okay, and Frequency Event Promotions, I really love that Orlando Bowen brand is still climbing. OVOT. I don't know what OVOT acronym is, but
I was talking with Sherry from his team. We were on a panel together this week, and they have a chapter in Winnipeg now, so they're definitely stretching out. So yeah, they're definitely growing.
What panel was that? Was that the one by
Anik Silencio?
Yes. How did that go?
Yeah, the mastermind. It was really great because being with Station, I think it's Anisha from the C, which is the Center for Empowerment and Education, and then Sherry, moderated by Anik. It was a really great conversation about how nonprofits need to think more like a business. And actually,
thank you.
It was a good topic.
Thank you.
And of course, Tim Frey was part of kind of putting together the event because it was at his space where he's gonna. It's like
is that in Scarborough?
Yeah, on Bellamy.
I have never been there, and it's like 15 minutes drive from where I live.
Well, let's go because it's like ready to operate, and people can rent like rehearsal space and podcasting space. So let's go check it out.
Yeah, I'm being very serious. Yeah, to follow up with that. I really would like to check it out because that would be. I'd really like. Yeah, and plus I haven't seen. When I see Tim at events that you hold.
Right.
That's when I see Tim.
That's the only time we can get him out of his work mode and say,
because I believe the last time I saw Tim may have been at the symposium, your last symposium.
Right. Yeah.
Other than online, in person, that's the only place that I see him.
Yeah.
Was it attended okay?
Oh, pardon?
Was the attendance at the event okay?
Yeah, what's that? Whoa.
Bless you.
Sorry. Yeah, it was more of an intimate, maybe like 10, 15 people. Panel and the audience.
That would have been worth going to.
Yeah.
You got to bug me about these things, man. You got to bug me. Especially if it's only if it's a 15-minute drive, I'm good.
True, yeah. Well, that's where we should be doing more stuff in Scarborough. We got the C Center, Tim's Place. We can be creating a little ecosystem on this east side, so we don't have to be going downtown Toronto for things.
Well, okay, so Frequency Event Promotion says, yes, Orlando Bowen Youth Organization, OVOT, One Voice, One Team. Okay.
Oh, right,
Good morning to Minnie on Cam. Hope you're doing fine. And also, Frequency Event Promotion says, shout out to Tim Frey. Yes, absolutely. Also says, hashtag bless you. All right.
Thank you.
Right. This is good. And good morning to the McMillan Mortgage Group, Ray McMillan. Good to have you here. And him, Andrew, and Stefan did another great sharing session on Wednesday. I think they do it every second Wednesday. and they some really good stuff. And it was so good that they ran past time.
Yes, yes.
So I said, really
That
good
happens
stuff.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else is up for you right now? Because Ryan, you've got to leave in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, and speaking of 15, it's
Yeah.
my wife and I's 15th year anniversary. So shout out to my Boo Bear
Congratulations.
Cheriton.
What?
And I've been planning a secret trip for her. So this might have given it away since she watches the show. But I've been with her calendar with nursing. It's a bit tricky to coordinate, week-long events, but yeah, we're celebrating 15 years married and 22 years together.
15 years married, 22
Yes.
years together.
Yes.
Wow. You're a cyborg.
Why?
Like people like us being married and for so long. You know what? This is actually it gives me an idea. There's getting a group of Black men on who've been married for a long time.
Right. I think Wayne Harris has been
Wayne
married for quite a long time too. Yeah.
Yes,
you mentioned it.
Yes. Good. And also good day, Dr. Tachi, the power behind Indie Soup Media. Good to have you here. And she also says happy anniversary. Wayne said, congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Gala King. All right.
But we should have did a gala for our 15th anniversary, maybe for 25.
So you have something planned?
Yes.
Is it soon or a little bit down the road?
I'll say fall, so soon.
Okay. That means when we don't see you for a week, we know.
Right, I'll let you know. Yeah.
All right. Okay, good stuff. And Ray says, congratulations, Ryan. Wishing you both more years of a strong and powerful marriage. I like that. A strong and powerful marriage.
Appreciate that.
He says, congratulations, Wayne. As I was saying a few moments ago, I think it'd be a good idea if we could to get a group of Black men coming on and talking about how they've been able to keep it going.
Hey, I love that idea. That'd be so cool.
Frequency Event Promotion says, "Gotta run, John. Would love to make a guest appearance on your show. When you have time, we can fit into your schedule."
Right. We've been inviting him on for 3 years.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Great weekend, y'all. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that would make a very good conversation. Getting people like, of course, Wayne Harris, Ray McMillan, Roger Dundas, yourself, myself on, and just talk about it, because it's interesting. Because last Sunday I was at the Black Daddies Club event, and they were talking about therapy for Black men and Black boys, and it was interesting. And a few Black men said they got into therapy because they went through a divorce and they needed to work through it. Oh wow, Serena Wills is in the house. Absolutely.
Hey, Serena.
Absolutely.
Did any of them reflect on if they went to therapy before the divorce, if it could have helped?
No. Well, you see, the way that the event was set up is they had 1 hour panels of like 7 people. So when you're on a panel with that many people, they get shot once and that's it. Right.
It's like intros, a question, and an outro.
But I do have a list of people who appeared at the event I'm going to reach out to see if they would be able to come on the Morning Vibe or one of the other platforms that I'm a part of. Actually, one lady I'm in conversation with, she is a family lawyer.
Right. Okay.
And actually, she lives in the Durham region.
Oh, good. So East Side.
Yeah, and she was really, really, really good. When we've had preliminary conversations, see if she would come on and just give information about family law, because unfortunately, especially a number of Black men are in that environment at the present time, and trying to navigate through it is not easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing to think about, and we'll probably, when we do that panel, talk about it more, is the actual reason marriage was invented is to keep things, I'll say, structured. Because when you're not married to somebody, the only other marital status is single. So when you're single, you can bounce around, and then when you bounce around, you get into issues of family court and children around. Your life gets very chaotic,
Yeah.
and the family court system is not geared towards men. So you don't want to have to deal with it.
Well, this is why I found this lady really great and
Mm.
fascinating, because she really broke it down, and saying that it's a system. It is a system. And it's
Right,
funny
right.
because when she gave me her contact information, I was getting ready to put in my phone. I had her number from 2018,
Oh,
and,
okay.
and she was referred to me by another family lawyer gentleman I know. And then there's another gentleman who, when I was doing some work doing some heart work with some Black fathers, there was a
Mm.
gentleman who used to come in once a month and give complimentary half-hour consultations for fathers who were involved in that. And I mentioned this gentleman's name to this lady who I've been chatting with, who's a lawyer who, and she said, "Oh, he's a judge now."
Okay.
So I'm gonna text him
Man,
and just see how
that's
he's doing,
awesome.
because but he's actually, and I think he's a judge in the Durham or Markham region.
Okay.
But
Yo,
the
solid.
wonderful thing about him is when I first met him, he said, I said, "What are you all about?" He says, "I just want fathers to be treated with fairly." I said, "I can work with you."
Mm. True. Right.
He's a
Right.
non-melanated Jewish gentleman, but man, he was good. I mean,
Right.
sometimes I bring fathers up to his office, and he'd spend like an hour and a half with them.
Right. Right. Right.
And I'm saying to the dad, "Do you realize how much money this would cost you
Right. Exactly.
if you spend an hour and a half in a lawyer's office?" So
Mhm.
Dr. Tachi says, "Hey, Serena."
Mhm.
Serena says, "Hey, Sora Tachi." Serena Will says, "A question I would have had is how many went to therapy before the divorce and really took in what was being said, learning and applying versus just being there." Yeah, that's a very
That's
good
what I was
point.
thinking. Right.
That's a very, very good point. Like,
Mm.
yeah, I heard that two or three times, and it's just interesting. One is an established therapist, the other one is a
Mhm.
therapist in training. The therapist in training has been divorced, then had another long-term relationship that broke up.
Ooh.
And then this other gentleman who is a therapist, and I'm not giving any names,
Mm.
uh, has now been married twice and divorced twice.
Okay. Right. Right.
So it's just interesting, because I believe, this is just me, therapists need therapy themselves.
Okay. Right. Right.
Right. I think, and people like yourself and what we do, we assist a lot of people, and we need help. Like
Yeah.
a
Right.
lot of people think we have it all together.
Nah, bro.
Sorry. No.
Not even.
Hey, there a lot of
Yeah.
times many a time I'm figuring it out along the way.
Absolutely. And one thing I started to notice when I've been meeting like really successful people, and a lot of them are on their second marriages, second and third. And you wonder, is that the only path forward to be successful? You're gonna like destroy your marriage because I guess you're so focused on what you're doing, and then you look up and the marriage isn't there anymore. So yeah, it's you're always in your mind about the balance and if there is any balance. But yeah.
So Minion Cam says it takes a lot of work to put this together, and some people do not want to do the inner work. True. And Serena Will says they actually suggest that for mental health professionals, therapists need a therapist, coaches need
Mm.
coaching. Yeah. Like I have coaches, I have people who assist me. Absolutely.
Yes,
And
yes.
100%. And I think one of the challenging things is asking for help. I actually came up in a conversation I was watching
Mhm.
yesterday. A lot of people wanted to ask for help, but yeah, it's really, here's I just came to a thought in my alleged mind. How many people have had, let's say, at least married for 10 years, and it's the only marriage they've had, not second or third. How many people have been married for at least 10 years and it's the only marriage they've been in? Not their second, not their third.
Interesting.
I think that'd be a very interesting question on that. Like and it's funny, I communicate professionally more with more single women, especially melanated women in their 40s. Late 30s, early 40s, who have all divorced.
Gotcha.
And I think, and for people, and I'm going to think about how many people do you communicate with? And this is just to the broad audience watching live or on the replay, are, like I said, been married only once for 10 years or more.
And it's interesting because I can think of my parents and then my wife's parents also, but I'm curious, those might be the only two in each of our families. Like all my other uncles on both sides. I'm trying to think who else has been married and just I can't think of another one.
That is,
I'll have to ask my wife, share if she knows of anyone else that also fits that on her side of the family. But at first glance, maybe Uncle Winston. I think, they've been married a long time.
Like if I look at the elders in the family, yes. Well, so many, a number, right? Just one marriage, that's it, and it's been forever and ever. But wow, that we actually need to get a relationship person on and chat about the state of relationships in the African Black community. Look at this. Many on cam says my grandparents are together over 10 years, but it's a second marriage for my grandfathers on both sides. Oh
wow, gotcha.
So it can happen at old age or elder age.
You gotta reboot. Nice.
That's crazy. I know you've got to leave in a few moments. Actually, and it's too bad, but when we come after you leave, we're going to run a quick break. But did you hear about this survey about 20-somethings in Toronto are more depressed and financially troubled than older generations?
Oh boy, I believe it, but only because of how fake the internet is. I could see young people being depressed. And speaking of which, I should check in on my daughter's mental health because I know she's on TikTok. We probably shouldn't have let her be on those types of social platforms so early, but you're only seeing people's fake lives, so it's hard to compete with the best moments of your peers' lives. And then you feel like you're inadequate,
Yeah, well, as one of the people I really respect, and he's been leading me in great directions for a long time. He said a long time ago, he said, Dr. Vibe, do you notice that 80% of the people in social media only show 20% of their life?
Valid, right?
How many people post about themselves when they didn't do good?
Yeah, exactly.
When they didn't do good. But so what's up for you for the weekend?
A few appointments, but Sunday's pretty clear. So gonna be with the family, find a beach or go visit the grandparents and chill out a bit.
Hopefully it ain't gonna rain.
That's always the watch, but it's been nice. Yesterday was nice. Today was nice. So weekend rain.
Yesterday was hot, brother.
Yesterday was heavy.
Oh my gosh. Yesterday was not playing, man. Well, so it's supposed to rain tomorrow and Sunday.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
chance of rain from like now right through Monday is just pure rain.
Wow. Yeah. And I'm not enjoying this fall weather-ish in the evenings. It feels very chill when the sun goes down. Yeah, when the sun goes down.
Yeah, well, hey, and it's going down earlier, right?
Yes. Oh, man.
It's going down, but The most important thing we all have in our life is time, and Mr. Knight has to exit stage left because he has
Yes, but always good seeing you. And
yeah,
we'll touch base later today.
yeah, we touch base because you sent me a message and a lot of the dates that you want are open, but we'll touch base later. Travel safely and thank you, Mr. Knight. We'll
My
catch you.
pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Ryan Knight is on the move, so I wanted to make sure that he got out of there at a decent time. All right. So when we come back, family, I'm going to go through this article about 20-somethings in Toronto are more depressed and financially troubled than older generations. New study finds. And I'd like to get your take on it. You know, if you're a 20-something, would love your feedback. What's life like? If you're not a 20-something, what is it? What are you seeing and communicating when you see the 20-somethings? Are they good? Are they not so good? I can bring some perspective because I do work with, I wouldn't say, some 20-somethings, but a little bit younger generation than that. So, pardon me. We're going to take a quick break, come back on that on the Morning Vibe. And thanks everyone for hanging out here. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Here we go. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Join Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key as they cut through the chaos and make some sense of the nonsense in American news and politics.
That's not a big enough sample to even say that this is representative of anything.
Sharp insights, bold opinions, and a touch of humor. It's the show that keeps you informed and entertained.
Those polls have you thinking, oh, I don't need to go there.
Don't miss Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala. Tune in and stay ahead of the headlines. Yes. So if you're watching this during the day of the week, whatever day of the week, Primetime Saturday live with Aisha K. Staggers and Laura Lala Key, Saturday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where they try to make sense of the nonsense that's going on in American politics and news. So definitely check it out. All right. So a few things before we continue on. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Want to get up to 1,600 subscribers. On last Monday's show, to celebrate going past 1,500 YouTube subscribers, we gave away 2 free complimentary consultations from Energy Shack Juice Bar. So both those individuals, I'm sure within the next week or so, will be meeting with Carol and Nicole and getting a health nutrition assessment. Also, follow the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Also, join the Morning Vibe Discord group where we continue the conversation in between shows. And then finally, to advertise your business, product, or service on any of the platforms that I'm a part of, please feel free to email me, dr.vibe at the dr.vibeshow.com. And especially since Dr. Tachi's in the house, follow IndieSuitMedia.tv, Independent Content Creators Network, based in Fort Lauderdale, powered from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, with Dr. Tachi, our good friend. Over 35, probably getting close to 40 independent content creators. I am one of them. I also sit on the advisory board. Lots of great content. So go check it out. Follow. I think if Dr. Tachi's here, I think the network's now at about 17K subscribers in 6 months. So correct me if I am wrong. All right. If you're still hanging out here, I had mentioned it before the break and when I was chatting with Ryan. Love to get your take on this story that appeared in CP24, which is Cable Plus 24 News Network. And it says 20-somethings in Toronto are more depressed and financially troubled than older generations, new study finds. So I'm going to go through a lot of this quickly. I'd love to get your input. So it says Toronto residents in their 20s are more depressed, anxious, and financially troubled than those in older generations, and can benefit from more in-person and meaningful engagements at work, a new report has found. The study published Wednesday by the Toronto Foundation, this past Wednesday, because we're broadcasting on Friday, by the Toronto Foundation Charity, highlighted that people in their 20s are suffering from loneliness, food insecurity, and mental health issues at unprecedented rates. Quote, younger people are feeling increasingly more financially precarious. They are 6 times more likely to access a food bank than they were 5 years ago, unquote, said Mohammed Hoke. And if I pronounce that wrong, it's my head, not my heart, a director with the charity. Quote, the numbers are quite alarming, unquote. Researchers found that 45% of Toronto residents between the ages of 18 and 29 said their mental health is fair or poor. 39% reported symptoms consistent with major depressive orders, and 31% reported anxiety symptoms. 40%, and that's interesting, 40% of Torontonians in that age bracket said they are concerned about paying their rent or mortgage each month, and 44% reported feeling lonely at least 3 days a week. Most of the results for the younger group are a great deal worse than those in the study of those age 30 and up. Rates of depression, anxiety, and fear about housing costs were twice as bad for the younger cohort. Quote, the disparities are quite stark, unquote, Huck said. Quote, 40% of 20-somethings are saying that they're lonely most of the week, compared to only 31% of these 30 and up. He added that concerns are around being able to pay rent and being able to access food banks have, quote, skyrocketed, unquote, over the years. 20-somethings comprise a large share of Toronto City's population, with about 430,000 people aged 20 to 29 in the city of Toronto, the study stated. Most of these residents do not own their own homes. 72% of the households led by those 24 to 34 are renters. Wow. 72%. Whoa. Let me just take a glass of water and we'll finish off the rest of this article. Would love to get your feedback. Let me just take a sip of water and continue on. The study noted that COVID-19 pandemic posed a lot of challenges for people aged 18 to 30 in Toronto. And even as the pandemic faded, the, quote, enduring nature of mental health crisis, unquote, became clear. The report noted that much of the mental health challenges for the age group are fueled by affordability issues. Quote, this increase in affordability challenges may be one of the key reasons for mental health deteriorating even in years after the pandemic restrictions, unquote, the study stated. Screen time use also surged during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study noted with more than 1 in 4 young Canadians aged 16 to 34 spending 6 or more hours of their personal screen time on screens per day. Quote, we cannot know for sure how much people with depression are driven to using screens and how much excessive screen time has contributed to, poor mental health, unquote, the study stated. Quote, but it is a clear case that we need to provide people with high quality, affordable opportunities to engage in person as part of any solutions to our current mental health crisis, unquote. Researchers in the study suggested that one solution to current crisis is to get young people back into the office and employed. The study also noted that young workers and many respondents said they are eager to return to the office. Half of the 18 to 29-year-olds surveyed said they want to work in person 4 days a week or more. Quote, I think one of the things we're really trying to do is to call on employees in particular to offer opportunities for younger people, should be maybe employers, for younger people to have meaningful engagements and connections at work, unquote, Huck said. Quote, 20-somethings report far more desire to come into the office than their older counterparts to have meaningful engagements, opportunities for team building in person, face-to-face. That's such a critical piece, unquote. All right. Thank you for allowing me to share that article. Anyone have any comments? All right. Oh, we do have some comments. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Minion Cam says that's because if you share the dark parts of your life, people tell you to get a life. Don't understand that comment 150%. But so what is your experience with working or being around 20-somethings? In Toronto, it seems that it's not a pretty picture right now. Like I myself, as I share with you, periodically I work with interns, and the interns I work with are a little bit younger than 20-somethings. So, yeah, well, some of them are getting close to 18. Okay, Mignon Cam says, okay, that comment was about sharing on social media. Thank you so much for that context. All right. Yeah, I've had 3 interns this year who have shared with me they're going through some emotional / mental health challenges. And I've noticed this, and it's becoming something very aware to me right now. Mignon Cam says, my younger brother is in his 20s. We're 18 years apart. He is living at home. He is starting his career, but I suspect he is carrying debt, fancy car, and using his credit card to pay for dinner. Wow. Oh my. Oh boy. That is interesting. So does anyone online here have any siblings that are in that 18 to 30-year-old group? I'm sure that either you, at least some of you may, or you have nieces, nieces or nephews or relatives that have young people in that group. And Dr. Tachi says, wow, yeah. So it's a really interesting thing to see what they are going through at the present time. So part 2, Mignon Cam says, and I think he won't get the support around mental health. I never did when I lived at home. Yee. So Mignon Cam, thank you for being so open. That is really something. That is really something. That is, whew. So, yeah, 20-year-olds, what are they all about? I'll be honest, I'm glad I'm not in that age group because it's not a pretty world out there. And especially just reading from that. And I would say that's probably prevalent, some of those stats in many cities across North America. So I think that, I think that could be something that's prevalent with many cities in North America. People are quiet this morning. You don't have any thoughts on the 20-year-olds? What are they going through? Do you come in contact with any 20-year-olds? Like I said, whether it's family or whether it's outside of family, okay. Mignon Cam. Thank you, Mignon Cam, for keeping the conversation strong. She goes, the family hasn't changed the dynamic around mental health area issues. They're only getting older. So you referring to your family in regards that they haven't changed the dynamic issues, or we're just talking families in general? I'd like to just get some perspective on that. But yeah, and the resources are really taxed, especially if you're looking around melanated resources when it comes to mental health. As I said, going to this event last Sunday, especially Black men who are psychotherapists, very, very few. Very, very few. Small amount. It may be a bit, if it was maybe 20, 30 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, I may have, and I know what I know now, I may have wanted to go into that field. But it's very challenging. The 20-somethings, very, very challenging time. Dr. Tachi, I know you're in the educational field. Do you get exposed to any of these individuals in this age group, and what are your thoughts? What are you seeing? What are you hearing from them? And hey, if there's anything else anyone else wants to chat about, it's open. I just wanted to bring that up. I heard that story this week and I wanted to bring it to the table. So, okay. So Minnie says, mine, I visited over the weekend and they have no idea. It's impossible for me to walk up and down stairs. If they can deny my family issues, they will for my younger brother. If they can deny my health issues, they will for my younger brother. Wow. Thank you for being open. And I don't think that's rare in families. Let's put it that way. That whole family dynamic. And at the conference last Sunday, I shared with someone that, especially when it comes to Black/African families, the family is the greatest area of wealth. And I'm not just talking financial wealth. I'm just saying area of strength is the family. The stronger a family is, the more opportunity that everyone in the family will experience success. Let me put it that way. So that is good. Anyone else? What else you want to chat about? Are you keeping a watch on the U.S. election race? What you have any plans for? Well, on this side of the world, summer is coming somewhat to an end. Have you done any trips? Are you going anywhere? Oh, actually, in Toronto, they have the CNE, Canadian National Exhibition. I think it opened yesterday. Is anyone planning to go to the X? I'll be honest. I haven't been to the X. Wow. I'm thinking here. over 35 years. Over 30 years? Maybe 30 years. The last time I worked at the X, I went there. I worked a summer job there. I haven't been since. And even now with the traffic challenges in Toronto, even less I want to go down the exhibition. So as you heard earlier, Ryan was on a panel discussion earlier on this week in Scarborough. I would have went if I would have known it was only 10, 15 minutes drive from me. I've become a little bit homebody-ish. All right, Fitness IQ says hugs to one of her partners in crime, Minnie on cam. Yeah, big hugs, Minnie. Big hugs, absolutely, 100%. That is just not a good situation. All right. What else are people chatting about today? Should I do a little news search and see what's going on in the news? If anyone wants to chat, would love to get your takes on things. If anyone has got anything they want to say. Oh, actually, did we talk about it? Well, I guess the Olympics ended last Sunday. Did anyone watch the closing ceremonies? What Olympic aftermaths? Another story from the post-Olympics. Simone Biles, and I think many people, but may not the whole world knows, like probably the most decorated Olympic gymnast of all time. She's done it all. Like I would say she's the GOAT when it comes to women's gymnastics. Was watching a story yesterday when Simone Biles was 4 years old. Her mother abandoned her and her other siblings because her mother had a drug problem, a drug challenge. Let's put that drug challenge. And basically they haven't spoke long time, like since 4 years old. And someone was interviewing Simone Biles' mother recently and said, hey, would you like to reconcile with Simone? And he said, well, I'd love to. When she's ready, she knows where I am. So do you feel in a situation like that, should the mother be reaching out to the child? Should the child be reaching out to the mother? It was the mother who but left responsibility of taking care of Simone Biles and her siblings, and has not been really in contact with her for many years. Some people are saying, well, see, just because Simone Biles has become famous, our mother is wanting to cash in and sort of, on her success. All right. Mignon Cam says it was the way my family gushed over my younger brother's fancy car, Infinity, and all I could think about, how much debt is that? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I said, yeah, just because it looks good on the outside doesn't mean it looks good on the inside. And Mignon Cam says that is abandonment about Simone Biles' mother. Let me see if I can pull up the story. And let's see, mom. Okay. Let's see if I can bring it up. Okay. Okay, so I'm reading some stuff here. Let's see what's the best place to go for this. Okay. Let's put up this story. Okay, so Mignon Cam says if they leave for hard parts and come back for successful parts, they're not in it for parenting. Interesting take. All right, let me just bring up this story. Read it right quick for you folks. All right. I'm glad I've done this for a few years, because if I hadn't, I would be able to do this on the fly like this. So here's a story here. Simone Biles' biological mom speaks out about the Olympian's adoption. I would just ask her to forgive me. So Shannon Biles, the mother of U.S. gymnast Simone Biles, says she's hoping her famous daughter can one day forgive her for putting her and her siblings up for adoption. Biles, 52, was struggling from drug and alcohol addiction at the time, problems that led her children in and out of the foster care system. Quote, it was hard to give up my kids, but I had to do what I had to do. I wasn't able to care for them. I was still using, and my father didn't want me coming in and out of their lives when I wasn't right. Simone Biles was 6, and she and her sister Adria Adria were adopted by their grandparents, Ronald and Nellie, in Houston, while the future gold medalist's other siblings went to live with Ronald's sister in Cleveland. Quote, I'd like to make amends with Simone personally. I'm just waiting for her and her younger sister, Adria. Biles added in her interview with the Mail, quote, I speak to Adria more than I speak with Simone. I would just like her to forgive me. Can we move forward? Don't judge me on my past. Let's move forward. Shannon Biles, who is now sober and working as a grocery store cashier, said she has Simone Biles' number, but is waiting for her to choose to make the contact. Shannon was not part of Simone's recent life events, including her recent wedding, but did host a viewing party in Columbus, Ohio, to watch her daughter's record-breaking performance in the Paris Olympics. Okay, the Independent has contacted Simone Biles for comment. The gymnast has created support from Ronald and Nellie Niles with launching her journey to the Olympics, where she won 3 gold and 1 silver medal in Paris this time around. Quote, if not my parents and adoption, I wouldn't be here today, she told Today. So the mother is waiting for Simone to reach out. What do you think, family? The mother is having challenges. Well, it's okay. So let's talk about this. Fitness IQ, why did she wait until multiple times in being in the Olympics? That's what a number of people are saying. Inspired Thoughts says Simone has spoken with her mother over the years. Initially, Simone's biological grandparents banned her mom from any contact with her. Okay. Meaning on Cam Fit says, okay, having some connectivity issues here. Okay, we're having some, I don't know what's going on. There's some connectivity issues here, but I will just, okay, there we go. Okay. Fitness IQ, Cam, to re-enter into a child's life is time, forgiveness, and lots of therapy to set up new boundaries. Wayne Harris says, let go my ego. Minnie on Cam says, and if Simone never reaches out, then what? Okay. Dr. Tachi says she may be waiting a long time. Yep. Serena Will says, agreed, Tachi. Why now is my question. Now, that's a lot of people are saying. And Fitness IQ Cam says, yeah, fair, Minnie. Then it may take mediation between them to have that conversation. Yeah, I have a feeling. So if you were in that situation, if you were Simone Biles, what would you do? If you were Simone Biles in that situation, what would you do? Or have you been in a situation with a parent or one of your parents and you sort of gone your separate ways? But if you were Simone Biles, what would you do? I'd be very curious to know. If you were Simone Biles, what would you do? As I take another sip of water. Don't know what's going on today, but the water. Okay. Mignon Cam says they could also do therapy and be so different in their personality and values and still not reconnect. Okay. Fitness IQ Cam says if someone prevented her to reconnect and not being sober, I have more empathy. Okay. Dr. Tachi has I'm thinking emoji, the thinking emoji on that one. No, that's not an easy call. Not an easy call. Forgiveness definitely in the picture. Definitely in the picture. So, yes. So I'm waiting for Dr. Tachi to think it through. And anyone else, if you have any comments, what would you do if you were Simone Biles? Very interesting situation. And again, there's probably stuff we don't, well, obviously there's stuff we don't know, because it is a story that only gives so much perspective, So that is cool. And yes, Simone is married. And her construction of her and her husband, they're showing pictures of their home, which good for them. All right. Okay. Ray McMillan has chimed in. This social media bit needs a deeper dive. Note the girls were adopted by grandparents, not strangers. So it seems that the grandparents kept them estranged. Addiction recovery is not an easy road. Facts. Serena Wills, it's not an easy call. Did she try to reach out to Simone as an adult before she became a decorated medalist and married an NFL player as well? You can forgive, but not forget. Interesting. Minnie says, I know parents not being around shapes the child's personality in a big way. Okay. Thank you for this. We just brought this up on the fly, and you are a great audience as always. So I respect you all. If I were Inspired Thought says, if I were Simone, I would make the effort. I think it may more sense for Simone to do this when she retires, because that's a lot of process when you have to focus to be successful. And also remember, a few years ago at the Olympics, she quit the Olympics because she said she had this thing called the twisties, and she was going through a lot of mental challenges. So let's think about it. The pressure of being in the Olympics, Simone Biles, plus, I don't know if you remember, she was one of the gymnasts that was abused emotionally and maybe sexually by that gentleman from the Michigan State. Can't remember his name, Larry. So she's gone through a lot of trauma in her life. So think about it. This whole thing about her mother leaving her when she was 4 years old, being raised by grandparents, the pressure of being in the Olympics to perform, having this thing called the twisties during the last Olympics, going through therapy to come back and perform at a high level again in the Olympics. You know, that is a lot. That is a lot for her to have gone through. So, you know, Simone, I would say, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, you know, and Inspired Thoughts, yeah, you know, make the effort. Simone, if I can understand you making the effort, I can understand if you don't make the effort. And Dr. Taj says, Simone may not want to deal with any more trauma in the form of her mother. Yeah, that's like, there's so many different pieces of trauma that she's experienced that we know of, the public knows of, that she's gone through. Can she take another one? Or maybe she, you know, let's just let her have her safe and brave space where she wants to be in her journey. Really, really important stuff. Anyone else want to chime in regards to? Okay. Mignon Camp says, I know why it's so personal for me. My sister went through her path of training for the Olympics, and we have been estranged for years. Whoa, Mignon Cam. Sorry to hear about that. Sorry to hear about that. Wow. Mignon Cam, you got a story. I mean, you got stories, not story, stories. Yeah, getting back to this, you know, and again, Ryan and I were chatting early on about family, the importance of having a decent family. I think even these days are even more important, because as I share with many people, you know, when things are going good in with your family, it's the greatest feeling in the world. When they're not, it's one of the worst feelings you can have. Inspired Thoughts. Plus, she's still dealing with people coming for her husband for comments he made on a podcast. I didn't know about that. What comments did the husband make on the podcast? Maybe see if I can see. Okay, let me see if I can find out. I don't see. I don't see anything here. Yeah, Simone Biles' husband plays for the Chicago Bears in the NFL. No, I don't. So if you can provide some stuff, okay. Minnie on Cam says, now we text here and there, but nothing's solid or strong. Well, I'm speaking that it'll make a U-turn with that relationship with your sister. Inspired Thoughts. He said he didn't know who she was. Really? Really? That is crazy. Really? Because I'm just taking a quick look online here. You know, here's an article here how Simone Biles' husband talked about her to his NFL teammates after she won a bunch of medals at the Paris Olympics. Here's a quote says, "I had the honor of watching my wife get 3 gold medals." So maybe something I don't know about. Oh, now I see something here. Now I see something here. Oh, well, okay. So here's a story here. Just inspired thoughts. Okay. Mignon Camp says, after a while, you just accept people are not going to be in your life, even if they're your family. Yeah, you just gotta move on. You gotta move on. So just update inspired thoughts in regards, he didn't know who she was. So just to clarify that story. Okay, let me just bring. Okay, let me see if I can bring the story because I see the context where you made that comment. So just to bring some, I think is that okay? There we go. All right, so this story is from the Atlantic Black Star, saying that's right, stay in your lane. Simone Biles fans have a change of heart about her husband Jonathan Owens after latest video. Last year, NFL player Jonathan Owens once famously claimed he had no clue who his Olympic gymnast wife, Simone Biles, was when they first met. For some people online, he added insult to injury during the interview when he referred to himself as, quote, the prize, unquote, rather than her, sparking backlash from many Biles fans who interpreted his remarks as cocky and disrespectful. However, a new video released on Untold Sports TikTok shows that the Chicago Bears safety is now crystal clear on who his wife is, and he can't stop talking about her. The NFL veteran returned to training camp earlier this month to prepare for his upcoming season, following his experience at the 2024 Paris Olympics to watch Biles' history-making performance. The clip opens with one of Owens' coaches showing snippets just before the practice of Biles' medal-winning performances in Paris. A proud and humbled Owens then stood up before his teammates in his team's Hollis Hall practice facility to share his thoughts while revealing he had just returned from witnessing his wife make history. Quote, "I had the honor of watching my wife, man, get 3 gold medals," unquote, he said. Quote, "She is the most decorated American gymnast in history, so I got to see her make history, man. So I'm blessed, man, ready to get back to work." All right. All right. So there you go. He says the franchise granted the newlywed 1 year of time off training camp to go travel to Europe and support his wife. Okay. There we go. So there's a little bit more context there in regards to he didn't know who she was. Let's see. Mignon Cam says after a while, okay, we already did that. Inspired Thought says there are a lot of Black women who came for him and saying she needs to divorce him. Well, yeah, I could see that. I could see that happening. 100%. But we got some more clarity on that statement that you made there. So yes, Ms. Biles and her beau. So let's speak of that they have a successful marriage journey. But especially when you're in the public limelight, like both of them, like her being such an incredible athlete, he plays for an NFL team. You know, those things are going to happen. Not the Mignon Camp says other people should not speak on other people's relationships. They are not in the relationship. Hey, mind their own beeswax. But I think one of the things that people need to know that they're in the public eye, that's unfortunately part of the price you pay. That's part of the price that you're going. If you want to be out there, you got to be ready for what out there could mean, the good, bad, and the ugly. So as I said, we hope that Ms. Biles and her husband have a good relationship and they can overcome the vicissitudes of relationships, marriage, the whole 9 yards. So that story just came up my head. Thanks again for people engaging in real time. Anything else you want to chat with? Probably in the next few minutes, we're going to shut it down for this episode of the Morning Vibe. And actually, I haven't asked this in a little while. Does anyone have any suggestions for the Morning Vibe show? Be very curious. I know I'm putting you on the spot. We're blessed to have Wayne Harris come on once a month, Financial First Fridays, which has been happening for a while. And now we have Minnie on Cam that comes on the last Fridays of each month, giving perspectives for those who have a disability. Are there any guests or any topics that you'd like us to chat about? I am open to suggestions, because without you on the other side of the screen or listening, there is no Morning Vibe. And Ryan, there is no Morning Vibe, because in the next 2 weeks, we're going to get back in the fall season. Okay. Inspired Thoughts is correct. Mini on Cam. Simone got fed up and told people to F off and mind their own business. Yeah, I agree so much with that. But again, Simone has to realize she's in the public eye. So to ask people to do that is one thing. To expect them to do that, that's another thing. Okay. I suggest bringing on Jessica O'Reilly, relationship expert. I have not heard of that person. So I'm going to see what's up with her, but you're doing it as a reference. I will take a look and see what she's all about. And okay, Dr. Jessica. Okay, all right. Okay. She sounds like she has a huge following. Oh, she's been on. Okay, she's been on the Today Show. Okay. Well, I could certainly try and reach out to her and see if she has time to fit in her schedule. Perhaps, okay. McMillan Group Ray has been on me on this for a while. Perhaps a live show with a live audience, something to celebrate the show's journey and evolution. You know what? I like that as a suggestion. And you know what? That's one of the reasons I want to go to Tim Frey's location to do a live show. So you know what, Ray, I'm going to follow up with you on that. I know it's something you've mentioned in the past a little bit in another way, but okay, live show, taking that into, I'm going to talk with you a bit about that, and also reach out to Tim Frey to go to his space, because it sounds like it could be a space to have maybe a small group of people, 10 or 15. Live show would need to get the right camera people. Actually, I know some avenues on how I could get some affordable camera people to do that. But a live event, maybe, depending on cost, maybe once or twice. See if I would see if it could get sponsored. People who know me, I'm always looking, hey, how can this idea be sponsored? That would be one of my main things right then and there, getting sponsorship opportunity. But love that idea. And I've somewhat wanted to do that for a while, and I'm glad you brought up. So I will take that and run with that, and I'm going to use you as a sounding board as I go to that journey. All right. Mignon Cam says she is awesome. I volunteered at a booth for her years ago. Okay. Does she still know if I used your name as a reference, would she remember you, Mignon Cam? Because I always want to do cold calls with individuals. If I can get a reference or a name of someone that both myself and the person I'm reaching out to have in common, it makes that initial conversation good. Yeah, sponsored is definitely the way to go with a small audience. Yeah, I agree 100%. 100%. Get a sponsored audience, live show. So Ray, as we're doing this, how often do you think that'd be effective? Once a year, once a quarter, once every 6 months? So we're building an idea in real opportunity in real time. Not saying it's going to have fruition, but this is the way I work. Is that, someone brings an idea, let's create it in real time. So first of all, building on Ray's idea, would you like me to do a live show? And how often would you like me to do a live show? No, I'm not doing a live show every week. No, I don't, unless it's fully sponsored. A live show, I'd love to do it every week if it was fully sponsored. But a live show, first of all, would you like me to do it? And second of all, how often? Once every quarter, once every few months? I'd like to get your ideas on it. We'll go on for a few more minutes because we have this conversation building right now. I like this. A live show. So Mini on Campus is a live show once a year, maybe if it makes sense. I could work with it once a year. And maybe doing something between now and the end of the year. But the key thing is, for me, is a sponsorship. To be 100% honest, I want to take as little out of my own pocket to do it as possible. Okay, depending on the cost and the sponsors, possibly twice a year. It would be a lot of work, but it could build the brand with the right sponsorship. Yeah, 100%. I agree. So yeah, this is what I love. All of you bringing such good ideas. Some I don't even think about. You're bringing these to the front door. Okay, where would it be, Dr. Tachi? I would do it in the Greater Toronto area. Like I said at the beginning of today's conversation, Ryan mentioned Tim Frey has a studio, and I'm not joking. It's no more than 15 minutes drive from where I live. Not even highway driving, local driving, 15 minutes drive. So that's where, for me, if I could work it with Tim, realistically, that's where I would do it. And maybe I'll depending on the size, maybe invite maybe 15, 20 people, absolute max, but maybe 15. There's actually another location called Center for, I can't remember what the E stand for. They have a space so there's 2 potential spaces within 15 minutes drive from where I live. Yeah, see what the venue looks like, and then you can determine the audience size. Good point. Actually, I got some ideas brewing here. Not only for the doc, but I've been presented with another opportunity to start another show and maybe doing the episodes there. Okay. If twice a year, one in the GTA and one in the US, that way you can have Dr. Tachi on live and build and US presence. Dr. Tachi. Travel down to Florida and do something live with sponsorship. I like that. Whoa, Ray, you got me really thinking on this here. I love that idea. Dr. Tachi said before Ray made that comment, okay, cool in regards to location, but this idea, twice a year, one in the GTA and one in the US, Dr. Tachi says, I would love that. Well, Dr. Tachi, with the growing audience that you have on Indie Soup Media, you know that, well, I'm suggesting you can leverage some sponsorship and maybe, I'm thinking big here, an Indie Soup Media weekend in Florida. And part of that would be a live show. Inspired Thoughts goes, I like the Canada-US idea. Yeah, that's why I respect and appreciate Ray so much. I never even went out there, but because the 2 main countries for my audience for what I do is Canada, US. And if people don't know, when I first started doing this, I was getting a lot more support in the US than I was in Canada. So I don't forget my US audience. So this wouldn't be as whatever the word doing as it is if it wasn't for the US audience. Dr. Tachi says that could work. Yes. Ray says we will chat, have some stuff I'm doing in Jacksonville, and can possibly get this to happen easier than you think. What? And Dr. Tachi is already in Fort Lauderdale, so maybe doing something with Dr. Tachi and myself in Florida, US. There we go. Inspired Thought says Indie Soup Media Weekend sounds like fire. What? But this comment here, have some stuff I'm doing in Jackson. Possibly could get this to happen easier than you think. Dr. Tachi, read that comment. And I think, well, and Ray is in Jacksonville. Dr. Tachi, you're in Fort Lauderdale. Is there any way that you two could at least see each other physically? Because that would be, but no, that idea, Canada and US. But the sponsorship part is the key. Take as little out of our own pocket as possible for that. That is interesting. That is very interesting. These are things I just put things out there, and because all of you are as amazing as you are. Oh, okay. So Dr. Ty says we're 6 hours apart. Okay, understood. I got it. But yeah, just putting out ideas like this. Very interesting conversation. All right. I think that is a wrap for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Friday, August 16th, 2024 edition of The Morning Vibe with myself and Ryan in the car Knight. So let's finish it up here. All right. So let's do this. Oh, some more comments still coming in. Then Henry's made a new podcast studio. Okay, Henry's. Dr. Tachi, I may have to make a trip further south soon. So you know what I need to do? I need Dr. Tachi and Ray, I need to share your contact information. Because that could be the start of this, having something going on in the US. Indie Soup Media Weekend, or Dr. Vibe, Dr. Tachi broadcasting live from Florida, doing an event, maybe like a North American event. Okay. Dr. Tachi says, please let me know. Maybe we can meet halfway. All right. Okay. And Minnie Young has the photography store, Henry's. Okay. They've done a podcast studio thing. I know, like I said, I'm going to get in touch with Ryan or Tim Frey directly to look at his place. There's C, that's 15 minutes away. There's another lady in the Durham region. I went to her studio, but her studio is a very small space, so it couldn't do a live show. But there's at least 2 places. Okay. Shirley, what are the requirements to sponsor the show? Oh boy, this idea just growing. Oh boy, that's a whole conversation as well. But definitely, the requirements is I would prefer to get monetary to do the show. So again, so I can take as little out of my own pocket to do the show. So it could cover the costs and expenses of putting a show like that together. Okay. Sharina Wills goes, do I hear an Indie Soup media tour in the making? I don't know. All of you are bringing the ideas. I don't know. I'm just steering the ship. You're driving the ship. But surely, if you want, reach out to me offline and we can have a deeper dive conversation about that. What are the requirements? But basically, I'd like to get as much financial support so I don't have to take it out of my own pocket. That's basically what I'd be looking for. So I know I could figure out how much it would cost and say, okay, who can I get sponsorship wise? And I take more than, hey, if there's one sponsor who wants to do the whole thing, great. Or multiple sponsors to cover the whole cost. That'd be worth it. Because I know once we do it once, each time becomes easier after that, because we know the process and we'd have a concept that would work. All right. So let's call it a wrap. All right. As always, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Again, let's get it to 1,600. Past 1,500 did 2 giveaways on Monday. I'd like to do giveaways sooner for 1,600. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, The Dr. Vibe Show. Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Also, to advertise your business, product, or service on the show, please feel free to email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. And scrolling along the bottom, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, Afro Caribbean Business Network, Facebook and YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. So that's a wrap. We will see you on Monday. Going to be announcing something very soon, a new thing, a new way of accessing the Morning Vibe. A new way. So I would say sometime, definitely before the end of the month, there'll be another way that you can access the Morning Vibe. It's being worked on in the back, behind the scenes right now. So by the end of the month, you'll have another way of accessing the Morning Vibe, because accessibility is so key. All right, we are done. So as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. Oh, we got one more comment. Serena says, have an amazing weekend. Right back, you and Jordan. All right. So God bless, peace to all, keep the faith, and walk good, and we'll see you on Monday. Take care and stay safe.